this trust is something we should take very seriously, and we should keep doing the right things to keep earning it. This why this year we're doing these three phases. Initiatives. The first initiative is on the tax side, the second phase, and this phase, as Mr. Shi said, is more focused on the existing taxpayers. We still continue working on the first phase. Phase one didn't end. It's work in progress, but there is a very good indicators about it. But we are adding to it another things that have been. Basically, we are coming up with 20 measures that also have been have been frequently mentioned by the taxpayers and by the private sector. We had double taxation in terms of holding companies and affiliated companies, and we are cancelling that. There was a lot of requests to also for residents on the investing in the stock exchange. There was a capital gain tax. It was very difficult to be implemented, so we're moving back to stamp tax. That's very minimal. We're coming up with a package to provide a big fiscal and non-fiscal incentives also for those who will be listed in the stock exchange for the next 3 years. We are doing what Mr. Sheikh said on the continuing implementing the new tax regime for SMEs and small entrepreneurs. We are reducing taxes on capex for medical services, medical devices, and a lot of other. Accelerating the VAT refund, are launching for the first time this year the settlement mechanism. If you have due payments for the government and we owe you money, we settle it through a platform that is very that has been well tested over the last months, so it's ready to be launched again to give liquidity to the firms without any delays. And then there's a lot of things not for more for the individuals, but we will be also launching for the first time digital services and mobile applications that deliver the services in a very, I would say, inshallah, in a very simple, clear, predictable, and with very minimal intervention. Just we'll do it on a couple of things this year, and then we want to accelerate it. But that's it's again things that have been requested by the private sector. There was requested also by the private sector for certain projects that the interest payment from external borrowing to be still deductible from the tax base, and that we're bringing this back. So we're trying to address what has been requested, but also while addressing that, the focus is how to improve services, how to improve predictability. There is a lot of also reforms in this package that is not legal. We're back this year implementing risk-based auditing and bringing back what has been there since 2005, where people will be submitting their tax return and not everyone will be inspected to be based on risk-based auditing. And as Mr. For the first time, we'll be delegating certain services to be provided by not the tax authority, but by selected companies. We'll be launching special tax offices in 6th of October in Tajammu and in North Coast. That will be very completely digital, not for all the services, but for certain services, and it will be a new look and a new way of doing services for that. So a lot of effort, but again, we do want also, we have in mind 200 reforms, but we will not do except like let's do 20 reforms. We do it with quality and with good implementation, and hopefully that this will keep building a big role. But also doing a lot of administrative reforms, changing the incentive structure for the tax officers, and introducing a lot of, or linking a lot of the incentives, payment incentives for them with providing services. We are responsible for the tax collection, not them. And so we try to deal with that and do a lot of other administrative reform. But very similar reform in the property taxes and very similar reform on the customs. same concept, how to simplify and reduce time and cost and burden and provide more protection and predictability for the taxpayers. That's in a nutshell. And besides that, we want to also keep allocating more funding and more resources towards supporting economic activities, especially exports and manufacturing. Exports of goods and services, not only exports of goods, by the way, and trying to come up with more and more outcome-based incentives, basically to define together with the private sector and with certain sectors the targets, and then we put the right incentive structure that can allow this to happen. So those are a lot of things, but one core thing with that is how to use also digital transformation and new techniques to better to make the services that we are providing more accessible, easier to our clients, to our partners. So there is a lot of also effort here that is being done for that. So I'll stop here, but again, you're really welcome. Sorry for being a bit late, but we are happy to have you here in the new administrative capital for those who are here visiting us for the first time, and for those who came before, also again, a big welcome again.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for receiving us today and such a short notice. And actually, I'll not take a long time. I have my colleagues here. They have a lot of questions to ask. I just want to say that nobody can deny the great reforms that have been done in the Ministry of Finance, especially in the taxes laws. It's very obvious, and we appreciate. Actually, the biggest problem we had promoting Egypt outside was the problem is with the main one with the taxes thing. And I think we should be proud that things are getting well by the time. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I would like to, gentlemen, please, about
Thank you, Mohandas Raslan, and Your Excellencies. Thank you so much for your remarks and for hosting us here. I do have a couple of questions. One is more on the domestic policies, and another one is on the foreign policies. On the domestic, it was made mention with respect to, let's call it repatriating tax and increasing the revenues, especially when it comes to, let's call it the undocumented circulation of funds or of business. What policies are being put into place by your ministry to increase, let's call it a cashless society, so that all revenues are accounted for, and this way the appropriate tax can be collected?
Thanks, sir. Actually, this is an excellent question. Why we were saying that we have invested like